It's a construct. So think about that tonight as we're doing our practice, about also coming home and allowing yourself to be still, because we do have all these thoughts going on in our mind, particularly when we do this kind of practice. It might raise kind of feelings of worry. Oh, I did all this stuff. So we try and, working on our mind, we try and keep still in the midst of it. So just keep that in the back of your head. It's not too much information. Feet flat on the floor. Really try and get in touch with the center of the earth, with the soles of your feet. If you're sitting in the cross-legged position, you can have your sits bones raised. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And just imagine your neck is lengthening, your spine is lengthening, and this is a string of pearls of light, your spine. Just getting longer, taller. The head is very slightly tipped forward, eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose, tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and relax the jaw. Now bring your awareness to the crown of the head and release any tension in the top of the head, the scalp there. And then move down and relax and release any tension in your face, starting at your forehead, nose, cheeks, mouth, jaw, and the back of the head. And release any tension there. Relax the ears and the inner ear, the jaw, back of the neck. Allow your shoulders and your shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly, limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And the sensations of the air is a little bit cooler as you're breathing in. And then be aware of any sounds in your environment. So just allow those sounds to be there. So try not to follow them with the mind or investigate. And then come back to your mind and notice what's arising in the mind. And try not to follow those thoughts. So just allow them to arise and to abide. And then notice if that you don't engage with those thoughts, they will just dissipate. And then as you notice these thoughts are arising, try and take a step back. You can be like a scientific observer. Just curious about what is in the mind, rather than getting too identified with it or judging it or criticizing yourself. So we just put ourselves on that riverbank, watch it flow by, and just know that while we're sitting on that bank, nice and dry, we're free from the river. So I bring to mind all these people of our life, our loved ones. These are people who we have deep and profound relationships with. And then those people in our life who we find a little bit more difficult, obstructive, maybe they just drain your energy, maybe you just don't like them. And then there's some strangers in our lives. And at any point in our existence, these groups of people, or the people within these groups, can change place, and they probably have, and they may continue to. And regardless of that, the thing to think, to try and practice thinking as an experiment, is that actually everybody is deserving of our love equally, because everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be free from suffering. And everyone has this extraordinary capacity for this enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation tonight for the benefit of all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So this practice, this is the Vajrasattva practice in the context of the 4 opponent powers. So we start by thinking there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one, because we're creating all this business with our mind. So we can equally change it by creating positivity with our mind instead. So start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience. So therefore, logically, we would want to remove those karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret the anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of suffering. And then who do I turn to? So what can I do about it? So here we come, the power of reliance. And this has 2 sections, refuge and developing compassion. So we start with refuge. And here is where we rely upon, we turn to Vajrasattva, the Buddha, who we rather see as a doctor who has medicine and methods that we can use to heal ourselves and to purify ourselves. And we're not needing Vajrasattva to forgive us necessarily or at all. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, a couple of inches above the crown of the head, and facing the same way as you. And you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher, if you have one, manifesting in this Vajrasattva form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. He has this beautiful radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So how we have this little bit of compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing a wish for them to be free from suffering. So you can think of someone that maybe you have harmed recently, maybe in the past. Maybe think of someone who's harmed you and have compassion for them, because they will suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So you make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So here we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. So Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, and it fills you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with the body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So then be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with the body. So next is the purification of the speech. And Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra again, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, and it fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, and nothing left, not one atom of negativity left. So you can imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech, useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Sipokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa, Sutokaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anarakta Miboa, Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho, Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Miboa, Sutokaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anarakta Miboa, Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho, Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Tita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Tita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Tita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Tita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So really try and feel that every word, every syllable, piece of advice that falls out of your mouth is of benefit to others and to yourself. So next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately now sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on that switch, the light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your delusions, your attachment and depression and neediness and anger and any violence if it's there, and resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, all of this instantly dispelled as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta miboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida miboa sutokaya miboa sipokaya miboa. Anarakta miboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida miboa sutokaya miboa sipokaya miboa. Anarakta miboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata aham pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, these are the source of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech. And just imagine they're all gone, finished, and there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And you can imagine Vajrasattva again sending light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates, just washes out even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida miboa sutokaya miboa sipokaya miboa. Anarakta miboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida miboa sutokaya miboa sipokaya miboa. Anarakta miboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida miboa sutokaya miboa sipokaya miboa. Anarakta miboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida miboa sutokaya miboa sipokaya miboa. Anarakta miboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida miboa sutokaya miboa sipokaya miboa. Anarakta miboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida miboa sutokaya miboa sipokaya miboa. Anarakta miboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida miboa sutokaya miboa sipokaya miboa. Anarakta miboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata aham pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final and very crucial step in this purification process. This is the determination we make, the decision we make to not harm with our body and speech and our mind, or to refrain from harming. And so without this aspiration and determination, we're going to keep engaging in the same old habits. We're going to keep doing the same old things. And it becomes like a beacon that guides us. our body, our speech, and our mind in new directions. So think of something maybe you've been working on for the last 2 years, or maybe something this week, today. Bring it to mind. Don't make it kind of easy, simple. Rejoice in the effort that you've been making to kind of counteract all the habits, and then give yourself a reasonable timeline to work on maybe just one thing between now and tomorrow. And this determination to not do again is what gives us, it's quite powerful for us in terms of change. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think my Guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the 3 circles. That's how he calls it. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. So in this way, you can look at all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And so let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to have a very, very long life, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. O Tub Shul Chang Shin Jam Gan Galloway, Tenzin Kyang Pelaway, Kunzo Dog Porze, Shog Sum Kuraway Leg Mon to Drew. Dog Sog Dulaje, Kon Du Jab Ten Shog. Lama Ursul, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe Shera, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everybody, lots of love. If anybody wants to do anything particular tomorrow morning, let me know. If not, I'll just work something out myself. Okay, everybody. Good night, lots of love, and I look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow morning. Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting.